Alright guys, this is part 2 of my first SAO video. So we talked about a lot of things in the last video, and now moving on to materials. When you go to the items when you first come into the game, one thing I want to point out right off the start is in the add-on tab, there is, you won't see it on my page, but in there somewhere should be a bag of mats, materials that are available to you for free. And there is a weapon included, I believe, if I remember correctly. We have some items that we never want to use up. I think that's the most important thing to talk about. So let's go to my warehouse. So color coding, I think should be relatively straightforward. The gray ones here or brown are the easiest to find. Then we have purple background ones that are a bit more rare. And so on and so forth. So take note, these are things you do not want to sell, throw away, etc. Ethereal ore, murmur stone. So Saurian dragon scale was one of them. Okay, the next item was insect gold wing. Right here. Adamantine ore. I saw that higher up here. Luxurian ore. Here. Spectral impure soul. That sounds dark, doesn't it? There it is. So that's one of the more common items, but again, something you don't want to throw away. Blackguard Amethyst. So this is something you can actually trade for, but again, still really don't recommend getting rid of it too quickly. And then we have Saurian Dragon Jaw, Crystal of Light, and Painted Crystal. There. Did I say Demonic Remains? Because that's on the list too. And then the last thing is Dark Crystal. Apparently one of the rarest item prior to all the other things that we need to find. So all of these items that I just listed are important because they are materials required for upgrading your legendary weapon. And this is nearing the end of the original game, but it's important to take note of now because there are chances you could utilize it without realizing. Which I've done, and it was not fun. Because I had to, I think it was refarm Saurian Dragon Jaws, which took forever. Other items. So, you see these golden or yellowish pouches? These are all goods made to be sold. They're typically ores, but there are other items, which I'll go into a little bit later. In the future videos for later content, if you guys are looking for that stuff. So always sell these products for coal. That's it for the main materials you never want to throw away. Everything else is fair game. Just to discuss what they're good for, you'll note on the board here, there's a lot of gathering jobs and whatnot that you can use to get coal as well. So typically I would conserve as much as I can of these goods just because for blacksmithing as well you're going to need some of these items. So I wouldn't use up anything past the 3-digit mark, or if I accidentally do like here, then I won't spend use up any more, throw away anymore. Again, this is just me creating a safety net for myself, so I'm never short on a resource that I might need. But like obviously this I can get rid of as much as I want right now. I have 568 in stock in my not in my inventory, but in my warehouse. In late game, you're gonna have an excessive amount of these things do sell for coal, which ironically is when you don't need it to sell for coal. Other than that, there's also these friend requests. So if I go to the bottom of the menu here, you'll notice I got a message and they want to meet you for something. When they do and you send a reply to them, then you'll get a chance to find them in town or where they are, and talk with them so they can give you a mission of usually goods they want from you. And when you complete it, then you get Blackguard Amethyst. Just as a pointer for this section, since I'm thinking about it now, look at where these NPCs are. So let's say Hinata. She's here right now, and I could accept her request. So you know that she's in here somewhere. You'll see that right there, that identifying mark with a wing. So now you can menu errands, and the orders are here. So when you first encounter them, they give you an order of what they want. So in this case, she wants the special wrappings, which I have plenty of, so I'm okay to take on that. And then you can immediately go to the report. If you didn't have the special wrappings, then you'll see the mission in received, and there will be another indicator above her head saying that the order has not been made yet. So in this case, I'm just gonna report, complete it, and I would have gained the amethyst. So if I go to my items, since I don't think I had any to begin with. Right here, 3 Blackguard Amethyst from that. So let's just put that all away since I don't need that with me. So let's go to Astoria Plains, since everybody should be most familiar with this. And let's talk about chests. Alright. So when you first come through Phoenix Snow, like the doors a bajillion times because I didn't know what I was doing, you'll have various types of chests. So the very first kind I should talk about is the most common, but it's only one time, is these black ones. So if I open the map, you see that one I'm looking towards, right here, these black chests. These will always give you items that are just useful during the progression of the story. Not prerequisites or anything, but just common items. You get equipment, you can get weapons, you can get potions and whatnot. So first time you go through the story, definitely pick up all of these. They're going to be the most useful during that time. If you're in late game and you're coming back and trying to pick these up, then they're not going to serve any purpose for you. Next is the blue ones, which are typically guarded by a group of mobs. So they'll hang around the area, and power source fades, and you can open what's in this chest. So typically in the blue chest, you're gonna get potions. That's the most common item that you'll get there. You may get some accessories as well from the blue chests. Next is the red chest. These guys, as I mentioned in the previous video, are typically guarded by a named monster or NM. See there? It's the Extra Boar Commander. So once you defeat him, then you can open that chest. So a little overkill, but go. And first chest typically is a sword. So yeah, the Vulcan Blade. So yeah, the red chests are designated chests, 1 per map. It's always the same weapon, but it's different quality every time. Or it's RNG really. And if you're farming for a specific weapon, then or a better version of that weapon, then you would just repeatedly try to take out the named monster and open this chest. Okay, so those are the 3 common ones that you can find on the map. Now there are other chests you can come across. I'm just gonna look around to find a area boss. Within the story, there's also the bosses that are built into the storyline that you'll get stuff for. And yeah, I will know it when I see it. The red ones here are just like that Boar Commander, the named monsters that you want to encounter to get those weapons. And they don't always spawn, so H&Ms are even more rare for a wild spawn. But there is a way to force a spawn, I believe, which might be good for me to point. because I'm not finding one off the bat. So what we're going to need is an area with all 3 events. Like here, we have the Lizard Leader, Wings of 3 Tidings, the End of Days. So those are events, and below that are specific creatures. So when you clear all 3 events in an area, you'll get a special chest for clearing all 3. Okay. So this is the annoying part where it says all 3 were there, but there's only 2. It's best to double check when you arrive. Yeah, see, there's only 2 now. So I'll need to find another one. And hopefully all 3 are there. Okay, great. So here's one of them that has all 3. So these events, you have just to walk into the area that they're located in. And when you enter, you're gonna have these event fragments. Typically have a timer for you to complete. So I need to kill 2 of these guys. When you complete it, there will be this knowledge acquired scene with a beautiful chorus in the background. And that'll give you some materials you need for blacksmith. Typically ores. So it's a good idea to complete these. And they do have tougher mobs in them, so it can be useful for gaining those skills with weapons. So, just fast forwarding through those areas. Alright, so that was the 3rd one in the area. Now when that happens, there will be a chest that spawns as a quest reward. So this is also red and a weapon chest. So these are weapons that you can gain by doing those rewards and doing those events. If you do all 3 that are supposed to spawn in that area, then that chest will be unlocked for you. You don't have to complete all 3 of them at once. You can complete 1 or 2 and then come back for the last one if it didn't spawn. I'm still looking for the H&M boss. To be fair, these H&M bosses shouldn't be your targets from the get-go, as they're usually floating around level 100, and at the start you don't really have a chance. Like that tree that's typically in Finite roll. Yeah, don't go fight that thing. Not when you're starting out. Okay, so I did find one there. That one dark red symbol on the bottom, Devilish Blade. That is the area boss I'm talking about in H&M. That one's kind of annoying to fight, so I'm hoping to find a different one. But essentially, if you defeat them, you're gonna get a chest that has weapons in the green tier. So yeah, those are episode quests. Those are the bosses I'm talking about. You know what, let's just go and take it out, and we'll talk then. Alright, hopefully I don't get myself killed here, because I haven't brought any allies with me. Great. So that's done. Okay, so another quest reward chest has appeared for defeating that episode boss. So here you see it is a silver chest. This is a later area, so it ended up being our legendary armor rather than what I was expecting. So in the earlier areas, this would be a gold chest with a green weapon rather than this. So yeah, I had a suspicion that this particular boss, since it's usually always here, gave something different. So this is more in the DLC area, right? And now that I beat him, that area is no longer red. So I should be looking for these red areas. That'll show me that there is a boss there. Yeah, there, Vengeance Beast. So he's there right now. I can go through this area and walk back. That'll be faster to get to him. As you play through, you get to remember what entrances are near what area. So you can find efficiencies to get to where you want to get to. Alright, so as you enter the area, it will warn you. Like so. With the Vengeance Beast. Big ol' green lizard. I find these guys to be one of the easier ones to beat. Reason being is they have like the appendages, the tail or the head that you can break and they'll get knocked down. Or, you know, in this case, I'm way too overleveled for this area, so that's not even gonna do anything. The same thing, Quest War chest. So yes, here. This is the golden chest I was talking about. You open it, and it's a green weapon. Green class weapons are rare rather than uncommon like the blue ones. We'll discuss that later. So those are all the chests you really need to be aware of. And again, like a lot of these bosses you won't really be fighting until you're a little higher level anyway. But let's head back. While we're in the transition here, let's talk about the stars. So each weapon, as you notice, I've been picking them up. There's different star levels. All that means is the highest aspect of this weapon is, in this case, a 3-star tier. So whether it's the attack, the strength bonus, or the dexterity bonus, it's at the 3rd tier. Same with this one, and this green weapon is only at the 2nd tier. So you'll notice, obviously, as you progress through the game, the weapons you pick up will be stronger. The star level just depends the effects within that particular weapon itself, how valuable it is to you. Even if you get a full 5-star weapon, doesn't mean that all stats are maxed. It just means one of them has met or surpassed the highest tier category. My legendary weapons here, they were already 5-star when I picked them up, but these are the special items at the very end of the game, or nearing the very end of the game. But let's go to my warehouse to show something a bit more relatable. Unfortunately, I've only really been keeping the higher quality ones, typically 4 or 5 stars, as you'll pick up many copies of these things. These are a set of weapons that are the base for the legendary weapons. Since you're going to transform them, the stats they have prior to transformation don't matter. You're still going to just get a base value on the weapon you create. If we took this weapon and we enhanced it, so upgrading it like my existing weapons here, these are +9, so that's maximum enhancement. Let's just use a different one just for example's sake. But I walk with Lisbeth because she's my blacksmith and makes this a lot easier. So we go talk with her, open our menu actually, and go to engage blacksmith. She's the best at enhancing. Transform is blocked out right now because I don't have anything to transform. But like this set of boots, you select it, it shows you what things you need in order to enhance it. So the first upgrade is just iron ore. So let's just go ahead and upgrade this item because it's a fairly valuable one. You'll note there's a chance of master stroke, chance of success, craftsman data that talks about the different traits that she has. So overall, Lisbeth is the best for enhancement, period. You don't need to go to any other blacksmith and upgrade them. just spend all your money on her. And then below you'll see what traits are actually going to improve and by how much for certain ones. Other ones, it's more of a guess. Like dexterity, agility, and strength stats. In this case, you don't know how much they're going to go up by, but we can estimate about 5 to 10 points. So yeah, the first one only required iron ore. Now we also need the crustacean leg. So like I said before with the materials, there's a lot of things you don't want to throw away or sell too soon, as you will need it for these purposes. Just to go into a bit more detail, chance of success is pretty straightforward. What's the success rate of actually enhancing this weapon? And then chance of master stroke. So a master stroke is a perfect enhancement. You get the maximum bump in the stats below that are going to be affected by this enhancement process. The defense went up exactly as anticipated by 5 points as they indicated. Strength is now 95, dexterity 122, agility. So it's actually only 3 points. Sorry, my estimation was completely off. So 3 points was the maximum for this this enhancement process. As you get higher up into the plus values, the jump will be a bit higher for each stat. You'll also note that that last upgrade also gave us movement speed up 3%, and that'll happen for any set of boots really. That's a final buff that this piece of equipment gives, or this category of equipment gives. So let's continue on and just keep going through. You'll know for a master stroke, you'll see the animation of these stars flying around right there. Colorful stars. That's a good sign. But we can move on to the transformation part of things. So let's go to my warehouse and pick up one of the weapons that can be transformed. Let's just take the matter dissolver. That's the base weapon for a legendary equipment. And let's go find our blacksmith that is best at transformation. So his name is Basara. Looking for friends. Should be in the bottom of the list. Yeah. And he is in Market Street. So fingers crossed he's still there when we get there. So in this process, I'm kind of showing you a part that I was going to talk about later, how to find people. But that's how I do it. You go to the menu, you find out which area they're standing in, and you go there, you hope that they're still there, because some of the characters are moving characters while others are stationary. And another subset is characters that spawn in multiple locations, and it's all RNG. So I see that magnifying glass, so I know that he's there, and we engage the blacksmith. So transformation is an option because I picked up the matter dissolver. So why he's the best is the recycling ability. Recycling essentially gives you back the resources you use to transform the weapon. So take note, the first upgrade is going to require ethereal ore, or first transformation. 100% chance of master stroke and success, so that's fine. So take note, I have the requirement. It's all in storage. Owned is anything I have on me. So as I complete this, next is Murmur Stone, but we can step away right now just to check to see if it used up the fire item. By going to my items, I know I wasn't carrying anything. So go to the bottom, there it is. So when it shows up in your inventory, that means it was used and returned to you safely. So you didn't actually use up any, but one piece got moved from your warehouse into your inventory. I do have 3 Murmur Stones with me, so Engage the blacksmith. Transform. Brief Saber. Using Murmurstone. I have 3 on hand. 475 in my warehouse. Again, 100% chance of success. So it's gonna get upgraded. And it's gonna get the max improvement possible. If applicable, which in this case it's not. It's just a new weapon that gets given to you. And I can go back. So if the items are still there, they got returned to me. So that's the recycling ability that Basara has. Now, it's very close to 99% efficiency or effectiveness, but there's that 1% chance that's going to use up a rare resource, and you don't want that to happen, so save scumming is still valuable. I'm sure there's people that really frown upon it, but for the style of this game, single player adventure, really, it doesn't make a difference. It just makes me happier to know that I have a higher quality weapon. Next will be relationships with characters. So there's 2 parts to this system. One is fairly simple and straightforward. The other can get a bit more complicated. The simple part is essentially what I will refer to as the dating sim. You go on dates with other characters, chat with them, get to know them, become closer. So if I talk to Lisbeth here, oh, actually I don't need to talk to her to see this, but if I go to my friends, Lisbeth, friendship level is intimate, level rank 5. Rank 4 for Silica, rank 6 with Asuna, so on and so forth. So you'll notice most of them are between 4 to 6. Okay. There's some I haven't touched yet. Usually the characters start at 3, unless they are NPCs, then they start at rank 2. Rank 3 doesn't give you any real bonuses in terms of relationship. Rank 4 allows you to give them weapons. So if Yui could come out with me and fight, that would be a thing. But Silica, I was able to give her weapons at rank 4. Rank 5 allows you to give them armor. Unfortunately, you can't give them accessories. And rank 6 is really just for cutscene. Yeah, no need to focus on that. For me, it's relatively irrelevant. Did I use that last video? I think I did. So that's the easy part. Dating sim part. Go do with whatever you want. The main benefit is the fact that you can give them better weapons and armor, so when they come out with you, they're not going to be as squishy. They can actually do something for you, tank for you, heal you, stay alive long enough to do so on and so forth. The more complicated part is the affection system. So when you face a character, you'll note there's the affection system. You go in and there are these parameters here. So since I haven't really been using her in the expeditions, some of them have been lost, but the ones that have the thumbs up are kept and continue to provide. So Planner, as it describes, is a tactician, uses debuffing sword skills, and draws aggro. It's mostly supportive role behavior. And then there's a buff category as well. As well as a buff of getting 3% defense for her, personally, with the Planner trait. For the Sexy's trait, it's a support tank role, holds aggro, but also heals and supports. So like I said, I like my characters doing heal and support functions, and potentially tanking for me, as I'll be the main DPS. That's just the overall right now how she behaves. But that's due to the combination of these 2 things. So that's how it determines what she'll do or what she'll focus on, and potentially how frequently she'll do it. I've given her the tank role as a one-handed club. I think it's more suitable. You can change that as well using set EX skill, and set her as any one of the other ones that you've unlocked. Oh, and there's a few more here. Mixing this with the allies that you bring with you and saying good job when a specific trait comes up will improve that number. So if I go talk to a character that I've been exploring with recently, Tia, yeah. Tia has been with me on the adventures recently. Affection system. So, she is max sexy, max outlaw, and cool and shy. So, clearly, these have affected her numbers down below: attack 63, defense 173, buff 64, etc. Supporter rolls 281. So the main ones that I wanted was support tank. It maintains aggro, target on her, and I'll have the chance to backstab and etc. on the target. That she also heals and supports as needed. Outlaw, flexible fire, prioritizes sword skills. So in this case, when she does fight, she uses her sword skills, which were pretty strong. So again, the style of play that I wanted her to do. Cool is a defensive support fighter, attacks when able. So again, that shift of how much does it attack focus, how much is it defense focused. Shy, balanced fighter, excels at all of the above. So depending on how weighted each item is, that'll create a different character. Is this the best build? Probably not. I haven't figured out how to really create the best characters for what I want, but that's something that I'll probably go into later. And this page also shows all the details of the character's stats, how you might want to change what they have, and a lot of these stat bumps have been due to the weapon and equipment that I've given her. So all these things are important throughout the development during the game. And as you can see, her traits right now give her plus critical and what was the other one? Aggro gain up. So again, helping her in the tank role. But her EX skill is Warmonger, which is more or less a tank healer class. Again, exactly what I want. So that is the affection system. You can learn what each trait does and just explore what they have at the beginning before you bring them out with you. You can potentially delete them as well. I should talk about that. So let's talk to Premiere. Same idea. Haven't given her enough thumbs up, but you know, I have two that have a thumbs up on already that I've automatically will say good for as she levels up. That's just automatic progression. So I made her a healer primarily and a bit of a support fighter, but still prioritizes support, the healing aspect. Balanced fighter there. So that one, Fiery I didn't really want, so I've removed the thumbs up, which you can use with the B button. I'll leave those three on, and I don't want Fiery. Now there is a way to reset it, and that's, I believe, the change of heart option. I haven't done it, so I can't really speak towards the overall effect, if it's worthwhile to do. Maybe once I figure that all out, I'll make a video. But for now, I think that's all you really need to know about the affection system just to get yourself started. One last thing is the storyline. So when you go to this menu, you see the event list. There's not much for me to show, but typically any other encounters that you can have within the town of New Beginnings will be listed here. So if you're very lost as to what you should be doing, always refer back to this. And looking for those types of markers with the exclamation mark, you might see them on top of these billboards or billboards and whatnot. One more dating aspect, how do you actually increase your relationship? Well, you go to places and a heart will pop up over their head. So if you talk with them after you sit on a bench, or actually as long as the heart is above their head and you talk with them, then you can have a chance to do so. So here, if I talked with her, then it would enter a cutscene where you're just conversing, and all you can do is say yes or no or nod or shake your head. And depending on your reaction, if it suits what that character wants or likes, then it'll improve the relationship. So, I guess I'll do an example. You'll also move closer, and you can, depending on the heart color as well, you want to make sure to keep it within the pink to purple color range. I typically rush this, but I'm trying to explain. As long as the heart is in the red space, it's fine. But yeah, this is just a dating sim. So heartbeat's going faster, but the color is changing. So this is as far as you should go before you answer your question. Check out the overlook, yes. That makes her happy, so you get that reaction, and you keep moving closer. Typically every 2 messages is something you can react to. The first one is a reaction to what you did. So yeah, you just answer correctly. Just as long as you answer correctly, then you can keep going. I think there is a timer though, so how long this encounter is. But then you'll see your friendship improved by a certain number. So depending on how close you're able to move to them without making them angry, you can gain more. So because we're already at a relative high relationship level, the gains are actually much higher since it does take more points to get to the next level, right? So that's roughly how you do the dating sim part. Again, the main reason to do so is so you can give them weapons and armor. And if you really want, then if you enjoy that part, then power to you. Enjoy that part, play how you like to play. So that brings me to the end of this video and all the starting information on this 2-video series of what I wish I knew and how to do things in this game. A lot of it would have been covered in the game itself as it progresses, and you'll pick this up on your own time. But I was just hoping to give you a head start with a few pointers here and there. And yeah, hope you guys all enjoy playing SAO Hollow Realization. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, give me comments on what I can improve on, what things to change, what sorts of content you might be looking for in future videos. So with that, thanks for watching. Bye.